The president out on social media saying that he's got a framework for a future deal on Greenland with NATO, a framework for a future deal. He said he would refrain from imposing tariffs on goods from European nations that oppose his efforts to take possession of Greenland, adding he reached a framework of a future deal regarding the island. With more on that and understanding what exactly his post on True Social means, we're joined by Bloomberg TV and Radio international economics and policy correspondent Mike McKee. He joins us here in the studio. The idea of a framework and coming to some sort of agreement with NATO about Greenland, obviously the risk-on assets are rallying right now. There's sort of a relief here, but it strikes me as the president sort of backing down from some of the rhetoric that he's had about taking over Greenland.
Well, I think there's no question about that. The president left himself no on-ramps when or off-ramps rather, when he said he would impose tariffs and that the United States demanded that Greenland be owned by the United States because the rest of the world said no. And he went to the Davos Forum today and he said, okay, I'm not going to use force, but I still demand that Greenland be ours. And then he came out of a meeting with NATO, which has nothing to say about the disposition of Greenland, and says, I have a framework for a deal. Well, I've got a framework to become a billionaire, as you were saying a minute ago, but I'm not sure.
I believe that was off air.
Hey, the mics are always on in the studio.
It's a future.
I have a framework
it's a
to
future
fly.
Framework, yeah. So the president, and this has been clear for some time, that he's going to have to find a way to climb down, and this seems to be his effort to back off on this, to taco this, as people would say.
Yeah, when I hear framework, Carol, I think of like the framework or concepts of a plan.
Yeah.
About healthcare, for example, something that is not quite ready for prime time, but is in an earlier stage.
Yeah, no tariffs, though, which is a good thing. Additional discussions are being held concerning the Golden Dome as it pertains to Greenland. Further information will be made available as discussions progress. I feel like you get those things when you're like, we're just going to put it out there and we'll deal with this later.
Well, the Golden Dome is a defense system, so
right.
NATO figures into that maybe in terms of deployment or how others might work with the United States to install it or operate it or whatever. But the physical ownership of Greenland is not NATO's business.